Warm lights glowed softly on the walls, rose petals scattered on the floor, and everything smelled like jasmine and sweet lies. It should have been a magical night, a new beginning, but instead it was the night I was sold. Not loved, not celebrated, just handed over like a deal by the one man who raised me, my stepfather. He didn't even look me in the eye when he said the words, "She's yours now. Do whatever you want with her." The man I was forced to marry stood by the window. His black sherwani was sharp, expensive, perfect like his cruel face. He sipped something from a crystal glass and stared at me like I was property, not a person, not a bride. "Your stepfather sold you to me for a few pennies," he finally said. I didn't answer. "And now," he added, walking toward me slowly, "you're all mine." I could feel my heart hammering in my chest. I took a step back. "I can do anything I want with you," he said, voice calm. Too calm. "I didn't marry you for love. I married you for your body. You're beautiful, and I want to enjoy what I paid for." Then he whispered the words that made me feel sick. "Take off your clothes. Right now." I stood still, like my feet were glued to the marble floor. My hands trembled. My body felt cold despite the warmth of the dress. "No," I finally whispered. He raised an eyebrow. Surprised? Amused? "Excuse me?" I said no, I repeated, louder this time. "You can't talk to me like that." "Why not?" He said, "I bought you. I own you. That red dress, that jewelry, it's all mine. And so are you." His words hit me like slaps. "You're not a wife. You're a transaction." I couldn't breathe, but I forced myself to speak. "How many bodies have you bought before mine?" I asked. He looked amused. "Why, feeling jealous already?" I didn't blink. "How many?" I repeated. He gave a slight shrug. "Enough to know when something looks worth trying." That was all I needed to hear. I wasn't a person to him. I was a try. Something rose inside me, not fear, not tears, but fire. "You can have my body," I said, "but you'll never have my soul." "You think that matters to me?" He sneered. "I paid for the body. That's all I care about." "Then you'll always be empty," I whispered. "Because no matter how many women you collect, you'll always be alone. You'll never know what it means to be truly loved." Something in his eyes turned dark. He suddenly walked toward me, grabbed my wrist hard, and yanked me forward. I stumbled, landing against his chest. "Say that again," he said under his breath. Before I could speak, he pulled me by the waist and crushed his lips onto mine. It wasn't a kiss, it was a claim. Rough, forceful, like he wanted to own even the air I breathed. I gasped and tried to pull away, but he grabbed the back of my head, his fingers tightening in my hair. I struggled, twisting, pushing against his chest. I felt his hand move to the sash of my red dress, fingers sliding toward the back to untie it. "No," I cried out, using all my strength to shove him away. He stumbled a little, breathing hard. For a second, we just stared at each other. "You think I'm scared of you?" I said through clenched teeth. "You think you can touch me just because you signed some papers?" He didn't answer. He just stared. "You'll never have me," I whispered. "Not like that." Not ever. He didn't like that. He stepped closer, face tight, jaw clenched. Don't act like you have a choice. You're in my house. In my room, wearing my name. I stared him dead in the eyes. But I still have my dignity. He lifted his hand not to hit me, but to grab my arm. I pulled away. Don't touch me. For a moment, something shifted in his face. Maybe shock, maybe hesitation. But he said nothing. He didn't touch me that night. Maybe he didn't want to fight. Maybe he didn't expect resistance. Or maybe I looked too human, too broken to be fun. He turned off the light, lay on the bed, and said nothing. I stayed awake, sitting near the door. My red dress spread around me like spilled blood. When the sun came up, I took off the jewelry piece by piece. Each one felt like a lie. I looked in the mirror, my eyes were swollen, my lips pale. But I didn't cry anymore. I felt numb. He came into the room, buttoning his cufflinks, acting like nothing happened. Last night wasn't very exciting, he said. Maybe tonight you'll behave better. I didn't reply. I was done replying. I packed a small bag that evening, just a few clothes and a picture of my real mother. I left a letter on his table. To the man who thought he owned me. You bought a dress, a name, and a ring. But you never owned me. Not my voice. Not my soul. Not my future. You said I was yours. But the truth is, I was always mine. Enjoy your empty house. The girl you never really had. I walked into my mother's old house, the one my stepfather never touched. It was dusty, dark, but it was safe. I sat on the floor, pulled my red bridal dress around me, and cried for the girl I used to be. But I also smiled, because I had walked out, and that meant something. If someone treated you like a thing, if they called it love but meant control, if they bought your silence with gold, remember this: you are not theirs. You are not for sale. You are not a body. You are a soul, a storm, a survivor, and you belong only to yourself.